Welcome everyone to FSNE's first virtual newspaper contest award ceremony. I am Lisa Nellison Savage, the president of FSNE. I'm also the executive editor of the Pensacola News Journal and the Panhandle cluster here for Gannett. Joining me today on the live Zoom presentation is our Vice President of FSNE, Dana Banker. Dana is the managing editor of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. We wish we could be together to celebrate today, but like much of the world, we had to put safety first and we canceled our 2020 convention. The good news is that planning is already in the works for 2021, and we have signed the contract to return to the Westin Sarasota, which is that gorgeous facility that we had planned to use earlier this year. And after the wild year that we've all experienced, I've no doubt that we all have much to learn from each other. So I encourage everyone to plan ahead for that conference if you're able to make it. I'm joining you today from my Pensacola home. Like most of you, our company is being very cautious about our return to the office. From what I understand, talking with my FSNE board members, that seems to be the case across much of the state. But working from home in such challenging conditions hasn't slowed any of our Florida journalists down. The journalism that we're seeing being produced every day throughout Florida is truly nothing short of miraculous. What is happening with the COVID-19, social unrest, our country's response to all of it is really pretty unprecedented, and there's just never been a more important time for our journalists to be there to provide the facts and the analysis that our readers need to break through all of that noise. So on behalf of the entire board of FSNE, I thank each and every one of you for what you're doing every day to keep your communities informed. All right, let's jump into some of the incredible work that was produced in 2019. Dana and I are going to tag team this just as we would at the live presentation. We're going to follow that same format. So we will start with Division C. We will announce the first place winners in each category. But on the screen, you're going to see a PowerPoint presentation that also lists the second and third place winners as well. All right, without further ado, Devin, if you want to get started, we will start with Division C. All right, our Division C will start with breaking news reporting. Our first place award goes to the Pensacola News Journal. Annie Blanks, Kevin Robinson, Jim Little, Madison Arnold, Jake Newby, Colin Warren Hicks, and Tony Giberson for their coverage of the terrorist attacks at NAS Pensacola. Enterprise stories. First place goes to the Tallahassee Democrats, Jeff Berlew, Carl Edders, and Yoon Suk Poon, for their victim-centered reporting under the constraints of Marsy's Law. Investigative reporting. First place, once again, goes to the staff of the Tallahassee Democrat for their Hurricane Michael 1 year later project. Features reporting. We're going to stick with the trend here and go with the Tallahassee Democrat, Jeff Berlew, for his feature story, They Overkilled My Baby, a gun violence victim's story. Beat reporting goes to Cassidy Alexander of the Daytona Beach News Journal and Cassidy Alexander Portfolio for her story on Volusia County Schools Aim for an A. Sports. Our first place winner goes to Ken Willis of the Daytona Beach News Journal for a portfolio of work. Business. Our first place award goes to Jim Abbott of the Daytona Beach News Journal for his portfolio of work. Columns. Our first place award goes to Dave Schlenker of the Ocala Star Banner for his collection of work. Editorials. First place goes to Andy Marlette of the Pensacola News Journal for his body of work. Page design goes to Deandra Spikak and Andy Marlette of the Pensacola News Journal for their front page, We All Bleed. Spot News Photography. First place goes to Malcolm Denemark, Craig Bailey of Florida Today. Feature photography goes to Alicia Devine of the Tallahassee Democrats for Portraits from the Eye of Hurricane Michael. Sports photography also goes to Alicia Devine of the Tallahassee Democrat for Sadness and Celebration, a collection of moments by Alicia Devine. Photo story. First place goes to Bruce Ackerman of the Ocala Star-Banner, Muddy Princess. Breaking news video. First place goes to Doug Engel of the Ocala Star-Banner. Features video. First place goes to Tim Walters, the Florida Today, The People of Apollo. Multimedia goes to first place goes to Britt Kennerly, John Torres, Bobby Block, Emery Kelly, Tom Martis, Mara Bellaby, Ray Soto, and Tim Walters of Florida Today for the People of Apollo. News Interactive. First place goes to Mark Woods, the Florida Times Union for Walk Across Jacksonville. I will hand it to Dana for Division B.
All right, so congrats to everybody in C, and we'll head now to the winners in B. Breaking news reporting. The first place there goes to the staff of the Palm Beach Post for the Robert Kraft and the Massage Parlor story. Enterprise stories. First place is to the team from Sarasota Herald Tribune. That's Ryan McKinnon and Josh Salmon for the Wasted Minds piece. Investigative reporting. First place is also the Palm Beach Post, Jane Musgrave, John Pacenti, Lulu Ramadan for the Epstein case, The First Failure. Community leadership. That goes to a team from the Miami Herald. Renee Rodriguez, Andre Buclucci, Taylor Dolvin, Rob Weil, Aaron Albright, Jane Woolridge, Gwen Flosa, David Goodhue, and that is for their series Priced Out of Paradise. Features writing. First place, Annabelle Tomatic, Andrea Melendez of the News Press and the Naples Daily News for Rosie Tomorrow's Redefines Farm to Table in Florida. Beat reporting. First place, Renee Rodriguez of the Miami Herald for Miami real estate coverage. Sports. First place to Tyler Bremen of the Village's Daily Sun for his sports coverage. Business. First place, Rob Weil, Miami Herald for a business portfolio. Columns. Carrie Seidman, Sarasota Herald Tribune for a collection of her work. Editorials. First place, Rick Christie of the Palm Beach Post. Page design goes to Adam Rogers of the Village's Daily Sun for Operation Holiday Magic. Feature photography goes to Andrew West of the News Press Naples Daily News for that great Python photo. Sports photography. First place to David Santiago of the Miami Herald for his Marlin shot. Breaking news video. Al Diaz of the Miami Herald for Marsh Harbor residents grapple with Hurricane Dorian aftermath. Features video, first place goes to Emily Michaud, Brittany Pearson, and Emily Michaud and Brittany Peterson of the Miami Herald for how Miami Herald's investigation and Jeffrey Epstein survivors helped blow up a sweetheart deal. Multimedia, first place, a team from the Miami Herald for the Smoked podcast, Amy Driscoll, Alex Harris, Emily Michaud, Matthias Achner, David Davin Coburn, Kara Tabor for the Smoked podcast. And News Interactive, first place goes to Janie Hazeman of the News Press Naples Daily News for the JLB bot. And congratulations to everybody in the B division. And we're gonna go back over to Lisa for the A division.
All right, thank you, Dana. Before we get into A, I want to make a correction that I had in C. Our C division investigative reporting, first place went to Cheryl Smith, Miranda Moore, John Santucci of the TC Palm Treasure Coast newspapers for their Woodbury Nation project. I apologize to that, guys. Moving on to A, starting with breaking news. The first place award goes to the team from the South Florida Sun Sentinel, David Flesher, Ben Crandall, Cindy Kreischer, Goodman, Eric Choki, Andrew Borgia, Brooke Batinger, Skylar Swisher, Tanya Alanez, Dan Sweeney, and Philip Belize for their project on Hurricane Dorian. Enterprise Stories, first place goes to the team from South Florida Sun Sentinel, Megan Omatz, Brittany Wallman, Cindy Goodman, Eric Choki for their project Disturbed Kids Challenge Florida Classrooms. Investigative reporting also goes to the team at South Florida Sun Sentinel, Megan Omatz, Brittany Wallman, Cindy Kreischer Goodman, Eric Choki for their project Disturbed Kids Challenge Florida Classrooms. Community leadership, same team at the South Florida Sun Sentinel for Disturbed Kids Challenge Florida Classrooms. Features writing, first place goes to Lane DeGregory of the Tampa Bay Times, No Such Thing as SIDS in Pinellas County. Beat reporting, first place goes to Mark Freeman of the South Florida Sun Sentinel for his courts coverage. Sports, first place goes to Matt Baker of the Tampa Bay Times, college football and more. Business, first place goes to Chabeli Carranza of the Orlando Sentinel for Laborland. Columns, first place goes to Lauren Ritchie of the Orlando Sentinel, a body of work by Lauren Ritchie. Editorials, first place goes to Mike Lafferty of the Orlando Sentinel for his body of work. Page design goes to the Tampa Bay Times, first place to Tara McCarty, Sean Christoph Jones, and Lisa Merklin. Spot news photography, first place goes to Joe Burbank of the Orlando Sentinel for Hurricane Dorian. Feature photography, first place goes to Ricardo Ramirez Bazuda for Orlando Sentinel of the Orlando Sentinel. Sports photography, first place goes to Stephen Dowell of the Orlando Sentinel. Features video, first place goes to the team at South Florida Sun Sentinel, Brittany Wallman, Megan Omatz, Amy Beth Bennett, Carlene Jean, Susan Stocker, Mike Stocker, and Emma Kate Austin, and Sean Pitts for Teenage Time Bombs, A Generation at Risk. Multimedia, first place goes to the team at South Florida Sun Sentinel, Eric Choki, Rafael Omeda, Juan Ortega, Sean Pitts for Cops Crossed Line in Teens Brutal Arrest. And News Interactive, first place goes to Eric Chokey of the South Florida Sun Sentinel for his oil drilling in Florida map. Congratulations. We will pass it back to Dana for open division.
Okay, so in the open division, for the first place for the best niche site or app is the Orlando Sentinel staff for the Apollo 11 anniversary channel. Editorial cartoon, moving on, editorial cartoon, first place goes to Andy Marlette of the Pensacola News Journal for a collection of his work. And now we'll go to the student division. And we'll start with breaking news. First place goes to Melissa Hernandez, Mackenzie Beam, and Chris Day of WUFT for Hurricane Hell. Enterprise writing. First place goes to Emma Whitmer of WUFT for Small Town Salvation. Long form narrative. First place goes to Karina Elwood and Chris Day of WUFT for alligator hunting. Commentary. First place goes to Maddie Coggins of the Beacon Today at Palm Beach Atlantic University. And it was for The Handmaid's Tale, a reality check for the church. Multimedia. First place goes to Toby Perkins, Mackenzie Beam, and Sam Thomas of WUFT for At the Finish Line. Photography. First place, Yasser Marte of the South Florida Media Network for a collection of work. Video storytelling. First place, Mackenzie Beam. Hope I've got your name right, Mackenzie, of WUFT for The Last Race. Audio, first place, Amber Amortague of the Beacon Today of Palm Beach Atlantic University for The Tone of Today, Up and Coming Gen Z Confronts Anxiety, Depression, and Stress. Very good. Congrats to you guys. And now we're going to do the Spanish language division. And starting with first place for news reporting, and that would be Ingrid Cotto and Jennifer Marcial Ocasio of El Sentinel Orlando for their coverage of Hurricane Dorian threatens tent camp home for some Hurricane Maria refugees in Orlando. Sports. Again, we have Ingrid Cotto of El Sentinel Orlando, and this for Fight Beyond Karate for Hispanic athletes and Venezuelan, I'm not going to pronounce the name, Omara Molina. There I did. Features in enterprise writing and Spanish language, first place, Antonio Maria Delgado of El Nuevo Herald for Series sobre la corrupción en Venezuela. Congratulations. And now I think we're going to talk about the gold medal winners, Lisa.
Yes, we are. All right. This is exciting. We are gold medal winners. Our gold medal, as a reminder, are chosen from among all of our first place award winners. And every year there are 3 that rise to the top. And we are going to start with our Division C winner. Our Division C winner is a familiar name today. It is Jeff Burlew, Carl Edders, and Yoonsurk Pune of the Tallahassee Democrat for victim-centered reporting under the constraints of Marsy's Law. The judges said about this entry, one of the best ways to deal with public officials who withhold information is to get the story anyway and show the world what they're hiding. This team did just that and relentlessly. A great example of why local newspapers are indispensable. Speaking on behalf of the Tallahassee Democrat team is Jeff Burlew.
Hey there.
Welcome, Jeff.
Hi. I just wanted to thank everybody, Carl and Yoon, my two colleagues on this, and I just couldn't be more pleased and thrilled by this honor. If you will pardon me, I'm going to read from some remarks that I hope don't bore everyone. I'm not much of a speech giver, and I don't have a teleprompter, unfortunately. But when Marcy's Law passed, I don't think we realized sort of the near total blackout of information that we wouldn't be getting from the cops. And so in the first week or two that it went into effect, there was a body that was found out in the middle of a street in a busy neighborhood, busy road. Cops didn't say a thing about it for 48 hours. We went out there and kind of gumshoed it, and of course we went door to door. We found out what happened. There was a bigger story there. A woman had driven over her boyfriend in kind of a drug-fueled rage. And she was out on pre-trial release at the time for having done the same thing to her previous boyfriend. And that's just a thing that we wouldn't have found without digging. And obviously we didn't invent shoe leather journalism, but Marcy's Law sort of prompted us to do more of that, to get out, to act like detectives in gumshoes. And we sort of see Marcy's Law as the latest sort of brick wall or door slammed shut in a reporter's face. Reporters have been getting around those things forever to get to the truth, and that's what we're doing. But the main thing really was, newspapers are writing the first draft of history, and these crime victims are not included in that history. Their names are being forgotten. Their stories aren't being told unless it's incumbent upon us to do that. And so that's really what we're trying to do. And I, also society, can't have a full understanding of crime and get a handle on violent crime without knowing, what happened and why and all those important details. So it's just incredibly important that we double down our efforts to find out what happened. And that's all.
Thank you,
Pardon
Jeff.
my rambling thoughts there.
No, that was fantastic. And thank you on behalf of all of us for your work on Marcy's Law. I know the work that you've done has really gotten noticed, and is you're fighting on behalf of all of us, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our Division B winner is Jane Musgrave, John Paseni, Lulu Ramadan from the Palm Beach Post for their package on the Epstein case, The First Failure. Judges in this category said this prequel to the Epstein case is a relentless deep dive into how his case was mishandled at a local level before it got to more publicized wrongdoing. The relentless pursuit of this story is what we journalists must always do. Speaking on behalf of the Palm Beach Post team today is Jane Musgrave. And you're muted, Jane, if you can unmute yourself.
Hey, sorry about the technical difficulties. Anyway, I'm regretting right now not following the previous example and writing a speech. But anyway, I'm speaking on behalf of Lulu Ramadan and John Pasenti, and we're really excited about this award. And I really think it's not just for us, but it's for the entire Palm Beach Post. From 2006, when Jeffrey Epstein was mysteriously arrested, Palm Beach Post covered it exhaustively. We were credited when it exploded nationally a couple years ago as being the dogged chroniclers of the Epstein saga. And when, on the back of the phenomenal reporting by Julie Brown and the Miami Herald, when it exploded, people became more willing to talk. We went back and we just, we looked at every record we could possibly get. And surprisingly, after all these years, we actually, uncovered more records. And, even though Alex Acosta rightfully was blamed for, the non-prosecution agreement and everything else that kept Jeffrey Epstein out of federal prison, there was an overwhelming sense in Palm Beach County particularly that had Barry Krischer, the state attorney at the time, really taken the victims' words seriously and truly investigated what had happened to them. We might not, the victims might have gotten their day in court. Jeffrey Epstein would have been sent to prison. And, it would have been a very different ending to the story had it been handled properly from the beginning. But anyway, just thanks so much for recognizing our work. We really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Jane, and the rest of your team. It was an incredible project.
Thank you.
All right, Division A. Our Division A winner goes to the team at the Sun Sentinel, Megan O'Matz, Brittany Wallman, Cindy Goodman, Eric Chokey for their package on Disturbed Kids Challenge Florida Classrooms. The judges in this category said, the three massive societal issues dealt with in this work, suicide rates, mental health, and guns, are among the top 10 society-wide issues our nation is facing right now and for the past few decades, and it is only getting worse. This series had in-depth research on all three discussion points, mental health, suicide, and guns. Those are three of the hardest topics to report on in our profession for many reasons. Most people want to keep suicides private, hampering ability to understand how big of a problem it is. Mental health, another issues most want to avoid, and guns, easily one topic guaranteed to royal readers on both sides of the Second Amendment. This personal and devastating tales of the teen suicides were a powerful addition to the story and don't come by grabbing stats from a document. Reporters had to make powerful connections. And in these times, this story is what community leadership for news organizations is all about. Facts, questions, information, and editorials hoping to lead to solutions. Very well done in a really deep field of other great projects. Speaking on behalf of the Sun Sentinel is Brittany Wallman.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First, I wasn't about to wing it in front of a bunch of journalists, so I have things written down. I want to say first on behalf of the whole team, Eric, Megan, and Cindy, that it is a privilege to be part of the working press, the working media. I have always said it, and I still believe it. This is the best job in the world. So we thank the judges really sincerely for this award. Our series, Teenage Time Bombs, about homicidal and suicidal young people started as just a seed of an idea after the Parkland shooting. One of the grieving fathers posed the question, how many other kids like the shooter are out there? And that question really haunted us. And as you all know, as journalists, it is almost impossible to get records about juveniles, much less health records about mental health, schooling records. But we were able to use a new law that was passed by the legislature after the shooting, the red flag law, which is a tool to take guns out of the hands of dangerous people. And we winnowed out the juvenile records, which were not exempted. And we were able to just sort of open a window to these troubles of these violent young people in our schools. We found it was really sad and horrifying what we saw in there, that classrooms across Florida are filled with violent kids. We heard directly from teachers that the well-meaning mainstreaming laws had made it almost impossible for schools to get dangerous and violent kids out of the classroom. And we also found that many of these disturbed kids, whether they're suicidal or homicidal, had easy access to guns in their homes. So lawmakers told us that the stories were eye-opening and helpful in the discussion toward reform. We know it's a sensitive topic because everyone wants what's best for kids who have emotional or mental disabilities. But we felt it was time to start talking about the problem. So thank you very much for the recognition.
Thank you, Brittany, and your entire team. That was an incredible project. When I saw that it came across, I went and Googled it right away, and it was amazing work, inspirational. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank all of you. We're not in person, but I think a round of applause for all of our winners today is definitely well deserved. It was an incredible breadth of work this year, and I can't wait to see what the coming year brings, based on everything that we're writing today on COVID-19 and all of the issues plaguing our communities. I wanted to let everybody know that medals for the first place winners are being shipped to your newsrooms. They're probably already there. They were in a box that said do not open until today. So if you're allowed to be in your newsrooms, that is where you can find them. Thank you all so very, very much for being with us today and for all of the things you're doing right now for your communities. It's the most important job in the world as far as I'm concerned. Lastly, I want to just one more time remind everybody that the FSNE 2021 conference is July 15 and 16, 2021 in Sarasota. And I am so looking forward to seeing all of you in person. You're free now to share the good news with all of your colleagues publicly, get it, spread the word far and wide. You certainly deserve it. So thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day.
Hey, Lisa, sorry, this is
Yes.
Stephanie. Did you want to announce Paul Hansel?
Oh my Lord, I have screwed this all up, you guys. My bad. We've got one more winner. Unless I, whoop. One more winner. Sorry, I lost you all for a minute there. I'm so sorry. We have a Paul Hansel winner. The annual Paul Hansel Award for Distinguished Achievement in Florida in Journalism is named after the longtime AP bureau chief in Florida, recognizes overall excellence in reporting and writing by a journalist at a Florida newspaper. This year's Paul Hansel winner is Zachary Sampson from the Tampa Bay Times for his entry, Stories by Zachary T. Sampson. The judges had this to say about Zachary's work. Zachary has a sharp eye for detail and an empathy for those he covers. His work on Mexico Beach brought his readers into the devastated community, while his story about the war over the New York Times was told with wit. Congratulations, Zachary. I am appalled that I skipped over that. I'm so sorry. Congratulations, Zachary. Very, very, very well done. All right, Devin, what else did I miss? Because I know it was something.
That's it. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all my fault. I'm sorry, Zachary. I'm sorry, everyone. Everybody have a fantastic day, and I will see you in 2021, where I promise not to make any mistakes. Bye, guys.